Well, there he is. Look at this beautiful pond. Oh man, it's twice as big as it was. We're getting it, and we're gonna get it even bigger. But it's Christmas. Oh, hey, how are you guys doing? David Vost here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Boy, oh howdy, it snowed today. It snowed this morning. It's just about melted off now. But man, oh man, oh man, oh man. I got something for you today. I want you to please listen to this. Oh, if this doesn't blow your mind, if this doesn't revolutionize your way of thinking, if this doesn't completely fill in all the gaps, I don't know what will. I'm some, I can't even express the joy that I feel to be able to share this with you. And it's funny because this is not coming from me. I'm going to read you something. And I'm going to show you that this information's in the world. I'm not making it up. But it just seems like it's not getting into the ears of the public. We're only vaguely aware, and it's one of those things that somehow, I don't know if we've been conditioned. I guess you can tell somebody scientific information that's factual in one hand and crap in the other and see which one fills up enough, and faster, right? No. I think it's because of all the propaganda. We watch television, and the television has these little smiley faces and these beautiful people running through the grass and the daisies and the dogs jumping and they're throwing frisbees and then at the end it's like, okay, take this pill and you can be like these people, like you can be like the Joneses. Look how happy they are, right? It's not a big deal if you're depressed or sad. I mean, it's probably just you don't have any drugs from the pharmaceutical companies, right? They're hundreds of dollars for a bottle of pills, and they'll last you a month, and then you got to come back to us and get some more, and then we can, control you. Because these are chemicals that they don't know what they're doing. It's like a mad scientist down there in his basement mixing up some mad scientist crap. How would you know what you're going to get? They have all these side effects. We don't want any side effects, thank you very much. But what we want is well-being, happiness, and health. And I'm going to show you today, beyond a shadow of a doubt, how to do that. Just by reading something. And I think it's the best way to do this because I could not explain this in any possible way. Could I explain this the way this does? And this way that I'm not making any of this up, that this is researched, scientifically done. And this is called the Biomed Research International. And I'll put a link down in the info box so you can read it for yourself. But I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to show you some interesting things here that'll just completely blow your mind. It says abstract, background. Depression is a reoccurrent, common, potentially life-threatening psychiatric disease related to multiple assignable causes, although conventional antidepressant therapy can help relieve symptoms of depression. I don't know if I agree with all of that, but anyway, I understand it makes people feel good for a while, and they get to that. Relieving symptoms of depression and prevent relapse of the illness. Complementary therapies are required due to disadvantage of the current therapy. Oh, there's a disadvantage to the current therapy, such as adverse effects. Moreover, a number of studies have researched adjunctive therapeutic approaches to improve outcomes for depression patients. The purpose. One potential complementary method with conventional antidepressants involves the use of medicinal herbs and phytochemicals that provide therapeutic benefits. Studies have revealed beneficial effects of medicinal herbs and phytochemicals on depression and their central nervous system mechanism. You notice how, even as I'm reading this, you're thinking, oh, yeah, okay, right. Okay, I don't even listen to these words you're saying, Dave, or whatever you're reading there. I mean, you're saying that there's the effects, which are adverse effects from these pharmaceutical drugs. Okay, whatever. But I take my Zoloft and my, Prozac because the doctor says so, and he must know what he's talking about. Well, I don't know. These are scientists here. And I don't know if you understand what the word adverse means. All right? Let's just say it's not that adverse. Let's just say you got to run sometimes. Okay, you get a headache once in a while. Oh, they're much worse than that, Dave. Yeah, they could kill you. And the worst thing they do, and they're not probably going to tell you that here, is that they will stop your body from functioning properly so that you will be addicted to their medicines and you'll have to go back and pay them. Of course, your Medicaid will pay for it, Dave. Don't worry about that. Okay. Yeah, your taxes will pay for all that. But, it's going to mean that you're going to have to depend on a doctor to decide what kind of chemical balance you need for the week. And ever so often go in and get it adjusted. And then, it might be like just walking around in a daze, drooling. Some of these drugs put you in a state of mind where it's worse, but at least you're tired and sleepy and you don't hurt anybody. Okay, that's not what we're looking for. I want to share with you something today that will explain how you can be optimum. Oh, Dave, that little word optimum, I don't even really know what that means. I don't even care about that. I just want to be happy. Okay. That's the point here. We want to be not just happy. I think all of us want to be euphoric. We want to be completely happy. We want to be perfectly happy. We don't want any more troubles. We want to laugh. We want to be so freaking happy that, it's like every day is just coming up roses. All right, here's how to do it. And this is what the scientists are actually saying, in the fine print that you probably never get to hear. And so it says here we summarize the current knowledge of the therapeutic benefits of phytochemicals and the medicinal herbs against depression and describe their detailed mechanism. Under the sections, there are two sections: phytochemicals against depression and medicinal herbs against depression. In this review, in the conclusion, the use of phytomedicine may be an alternative option for the treatment of depression in the case of conventional drugs because they are not applicable due to the side effects, adverse side effects, my friends. And because they are having such a low effectiveness or they're inaccessible. However, the efficacy and the safety of these phytomedicines, the phytochemicals, the plants, the wild plants we've been talking about, the safety of them and their treatments for depression have to be supported by clinical studies. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, buddy, this is so great. Can't wait to share this with you. Phytochemicals derived from herbs are known to decrease the risk of some severe disorders, including autoimmune Okay, that's diabetes, friends. That's arthritis. That's a lot of lupus, a lot of things like that. And cardiovascular diseases. No more heart attacks? Oh my goodness. As well as neurodegenerative diseases. Sounds pretty serious. Indeed, popular polyphenols. Remember we talked about those polyphenols, those phytochemicals. Many of them are polyphenols, flavonoids. We talked about that in the last couple of videos. All right. So, popular polyphenols such as curcumin, ferulic acid, proanthocyanide, quercetin, and resveratrol. Remember that one in red wine? They have shown potent anti-inflammatory, antioxidant properties. These phytochemicals repeatedly have demonstrated their neuroprotective effects. Wow, none of this adverse stuff, just protective. Protecting the neurons as well, not just, your cells and your body and your health. And come on, do you see what these words are? I mean, I don't know, maybe you're hearing these words and you're not understanding them. But, and you're probably thinking as we're reading this, well, yeah, come on, Dave. Nobody's going to go out and, eating all these plants, and you're not going to feel any better, right? I had a daisy one time. I had an upset stomach. I didn't, I can just taste like crap. All right. Well, have you really tried eating right? Not eating the sugar. We talked about that. The white flour, the chemicals, all this garbage. I know some of you are pretty healthy. You're young. You don't care. But many of you do care. You're sick. Some of you you're not physically sick, but you're just tired of this rat race, the anxiety, the depression, the things going on. You just want to find some way to find life. Well, what we're going to show is that it is a chemical imbalance, and it's caused from a lot of things like your environment, but also your food. And you cannot ever find peace and happiness and prosper. Even if you're just out to go make money, you want to be a rich man or popular or famous or beautiful. You can't be beautiful without these natural herbs. We're going to show you what they do to your skin, your hair, anti-aging. You want to live and be happy at the same time? Okay, I know I'm going on and on, but I'm trying to help you see that these words are not just words. This is important. When we say adverse effects, ineffectiveness, that's serious. Don't use things that are adverse. I mean, it's serious. And where some other person can control you. And it's not natural. But here we take the natural herbs, and what do we get? Protective, repeatedly demonstrating their effects. All right. Strongly suggesting that they can improve the symptoms of depression. The antidepressant activity of these phytochemicals is detailed in Table 1. All right, number 1, carvacrol is a monoterpenic, a phenol isolated from aromatic herbs, including oregano and thyme. This aromatic phytochemical is anti-inflammatory, anti-analgesic, anti-arthritic, anti-allergic, anti-carcinogenic, anti-diabetic. No more diabetes. Oh, this is great. Why didn't they tell us? Oh my goodness. No more allergies, no more arthritis. Oh my goodness. Cardioprotective. No more heart disease. You say, oh, come on, Dave. You take one of these little plants and you're going to be running around in perfect health. No, you got to eat them every day. And then you're not going to, this cardioprotective means it's going to protect your heart. See, we're not going to just eat one daisy. We're going to eat them every day and see what happens. Watch this. So, gastroprotective. Not even any gas, right? That'd be good. That means digestion, right? Hepatoprotective, neuroprotective properties. This monoterpenoid phenol regulates human ion channels, transient receptor potential V3 and A1, causing a sensation of warmth. It is also known that carvacrol can activate the PPAR, PPAR, and suppress the COX-2 mediated inflammation. They demonstrated that the enzyme cytochrome P450 and the 2A6 is a predominant drug metabolizing enzyme involved in the metabolism of carvacrol, requesting attention when carvacrol is co-administered with other compounds mainly undergoing the CYP2A6 mediated metabolism. Orally administered, it induces antidepressant effects that seem to be mediated by the dopaminergic brain pathways in mice. It showed that carvacrol, administered by the mouth for 7 days, can raise the 5-HT and the dopamine ranges in the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex of your brain. Boy, I hope we can do that. That sounds good, right? Getting that dopamine, euphoria. That's what dopamine does. It gives you happiness. See, probably the reason we ain't got enough of it and we're not happy is we haven't been eating these things. No, we've been taking the ones with the adverse effects and the sugar and the flour. Okay, so number 2, curcumin. Curcumin is a key active constituent of Curcuma longa. This yellow natural phenol has been used historically in Oriental medicine. Oh, those stupid Chinese. Okay, let's see what you got, you Orientals. Let's see what you got. All right. Its potential medicinal properties are under investigation. Well, they're going to be investigating that for a while. It'll never get out of the courts, because I'm sure the pharmaceutical companies don't want that. But curcumin oral administration exhibited low levels in tissues and plasma, rapid metabolism, extensive rapid excretion, insolubility in water, and non-absorption are potential factors which limit the bioavailability of curcumin. Therefore, multiple approaches to increase curcumin bioavailability are ongoing with the use of absorption factors. A structural analog, liposomes, or nanomaterials. Antidepressant benefit of curcumin supplement has been proven in various murine models. In rats, curcumin administered for 14 days improved damage in step-down passive avoidance and behavioral abnormalities in the open field. Curcumin treatment, in addition, decreased the immobility time in the forced swimming test and completely improved the bilateral olfactory bulbectomy-induced alterations of the 5-HT, the noradrenaline, the dopamine in the hippocampus, and the kulkarni demonstrated that curcumin injected administration increases the 5-HT level in mice, and the antidepressant effect of curcumin can be increased by various kinds of antidepressants, including bupropion, fluoxetine, and venlafaxine, which when given jointly, they help. They also showed that the phytochemical can restore biochemical and behavioral changes induced by chronic stress. They also examined that the antidepressant benefit of curcumin involves the 5-HT receptors, specifically 5-HT1B, and this again shows that curcumin can reverse alteration in rat hippocampus. Additionally, Hurley, etc., demonstrated that the antidepressant action of curcumin may be related to the increase of the hippocampal brain-derived neuropathic factor closely implicated in the ferulic acid. Implicated in the pathophysiology of depression. Number 3, ferulic acid. Ferulic acid is a phytochemical that is known to have powerful antioxidant capacities. This compound is derived from phenylalanine, which is converted to 4-hydroxyl L-cinnamonic acid, and then caffeic acid, and has shown various medicinal actions, including anti-inflammatory, anti-tumor, no more tumors, anti-diabetic, no more diabetes. I mean, come on, they're all doing the same thing. I mean, great stuff. Neuroprotective properties, protecting your neurons, and found that oral administration of ferulic acid can mitigate stress-induced abnormal behavior in mouse depression. Moreover, they demonstrated that the ferulic acid can enhance phosphorylation of CREB and brain-derived neurotropic factors, mRNA levels, in the hippocampus. And then we go down to number 4, L-theanine. L-theanine is an amino acid discovered as a component of Camellia sinensis green tea in 1949. This amino acid has been demonstrated to have various therapeutic benefits, including improving concentration, learning ability, enhancing anti-tumor activity, preventing the vascular disease, reducing blood pressure, providing anti-obesity effects, no more getting overweight, lowering your blood pressure, improving the immune system, displaying neuroprotection. This behaviorally and psychologically active compound is structurally similar to the excitatory neurotransmitter glutamate, and in accordance binds to the glutamate receptors, though with much lower affinity in comparison. Specifically, it binds to ionotropic glutamate receptors and acts as an antagonist of the AMPA and the kainate receptors, and as an agonist of the NMDA receptor. L-theanine has shown effects in central nervous system, including the potentiation of Y-aminobutyric acid, dopamine, and serotonin, and the inhibition of glutamate reuptake. With potentiation of Y-aminobutyric acid, the brain's main inhibitory transmitter, L-theanine, may act as a mild anxiolytic. Gomez Ramirez has said, and he demonstrated the effect of L-theanine on attentional process. The L-theanine influenced continuous process accountable for maintaining attention over a period of difficult work rather than on specific moment-to-moment phase deployment processes. It exhibited an antidepressant action in mice. In addition, L-theanine treatment markedly blocked ptosis and hypothermia induced by reserpine. In the open-label clinical trial, L-theanine administration was safe, manifested various beneficial effects on depressive symptoms, cognitive impairments, sleep disturbances, anxiety in patients with depression. Well, that all sounds pretty good. Number 5, proanthocyanidins. Proanthocyanidins are oligomeric and polymeric flavin-3-ols found in various plants, including apple, cocoa, bean, grape, and tea. Researchers have proven that these, let me say that again, have proven that these phytochemicals have extensive pharmacological properties, including cardioprotective, that's protecting the heart, antioxidant effect, that makes you live longer, and antioceptive effects. And they have demonstrated that the proactinoidin decreases immobility time in both forced swimming and tail suspension tests in mice. In addition, the treatment increased concentrations in the hypothalamus, the hippocampus, and the frontal cortex. Authors suggest that the antidepressant benefit of proanthocyanidin may be associated with the central monomenageric neurotransmitter system. Okay. Quercetin. Now, see, all these are found in all these wild plants. All these things, these little ingredients. or found in herbs. Quercetin is a polyphenolic flavonoid found in many fruits, vegetables, and medicinal herbs. The flavonoid has been reported to inhibit the oxidation of other molecules by acting as a scavenger of free radicals. Remember, the free radicals are giving you the cancer, the diabetes, the heart disease, all of this. Well, this is going to inhibit the oxidation of other molecules by acting as a scavenger of these free radicals that are responsible for oxidative chain reactions. Quercetin is a non-specific protein kinase enzyme inhibitor, but it activates estrogen receptors. In preclinical studies, quercetin prevented depression-like behaviors resulting from hyperactivation and hypothalamic pituitary adrenaline. The effect was comparable with some drug that they're using in the field of medicine called fluoxetine. Then there's number 7, resveratrol. Resveratrol is a type of natural phenol found in grapes and red wine. In clinical studies with oral administration over 500 milligrams over 13 weeks, resveratrol was measured in cerebral spinal fluid. Although 70% of the orally administered resveratrol is absorbed, its bioavailability is around 0.5% because of extensive hepatic glucuronidation and sulfation. One way to overcome this obstacle may be buccal delivery absorbed directly via tissue on the inside of the mouth. When 1 milligram of resveratrol in 50 milligrams of 50% alcohol water solution was retained in the mouth for 1 minute, the resveratrol was detected in the plasma 2 minutes later. This concentration could be achieved with 250 milligrams of resveratrol taken in a pill form. Well, we don't need to do that. We can just drink the red wine or some grapes or something, or some pomegranates. But it's inflammatory. It's a neuroprotective. Its effects are proven by various researchers. It showed that resveratrol inhibitors uptake MAO activity in rats. Moreover, it is shown that transresveratrol could provide an antidepressant action with enhanced levels of noradrenaline in mouse brain. Recently, they've demonstrated that this phytochemical inhibit chronic stress-induced depression-like behaviors. Enhanced levels of 5-HT dopamine, non-adrenaline, and decreased MAO activity support the idea that resveratrol interacts with the monoaminergic system for its antidepressant effects. Now, we don't have to know what all these words mean, but this is just saying that when you eat these herbs, they're protecting you. There's no adverse effects. And they're stopping you from being depressed and giving you dopamine, which is, in other words, euphoria, and serotonin, and various things. Number 3, medicinal herbs against depression. Herbal medicine is the most popular complementary therapy. Depression has prominent indications for herbal medicines, and the majority of people with depression try complementary medicines. Some medicinal herbs have improved the symptoms of depression in preclinical and clinical trials. The funny thing is not too many people are actually eating these herbs appropriately. They take one, they swallow one, leaf or something for a couple of weeks, and they get a little improvement. They go, oh, that works. And, then that's it. People don't get rid of their sugar and their flour and go into a serious symbiosis with nature and really do this correctly. Because if that's the case, if we would do that, I am sure, as you can see, that it wouldn't just protect you a little bit or, kind of help or a little bit in some studies, but it would literally give you health and well-being, which is something we don't have today. People are dying and they're suffering and they're sick. And it's probably because we're not eating this food, which is what food is. What God gave us to eat in the garden, in the original creation. So it says, some medicinal herbs have improved the symptoms of depression in preclinical and clinical trials. The psychopharmacological effects of these antidepressant herbs, not pills, herbs, involve regulation of the 5-HT dopamine, that's euphoria, non-adrenaline reuptake, the MAO inhibition, and the neuroendocrine modulation. Chapter 3, verse 1, leaf of Camellia sinensis, which is green tea, has shown anti-cancer, anti-fibrotic properties, anti-inflammatory, and anti-neurodegenerative activities. Recently, preclinical study demonstrated polyphenols obtained from camellia, or this green tea, improved depression-like behavior and decreased serum level of corticosterone. These results suggest that green tea polyphenols can regulate the HPA axis involved in the pathological system of depression. Number 2, Crocus sativus is best known as the spice saffron, which is produced from parts of the flower. In 2 randomized controlled trials using saffron, patients exhibited remarkable improvement of depression over placebo on the Hamilton Rating Scale for depression. They also reported equivalent effects of Hamilton Rating Scale for depression in 3 independent randomized controlled trials comparing saffron to imipramine or fluoxetine, which is some doctor medicine. So they compared it to these pharmaceutical drugs. A limited meta-analysis concluded that saffron supplementation can improve symptoms in patients with depression. And another review literature indicated that it helps with mild to moderate depression. Authors proposed that saffron's antidepressant effects potentially are due to its serotogenic, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, neuroendocrine, and neuroprotective effects. A recent double-blind, randomized, and placebo-controlled trial conducted by Mazida showed that saffron treatment had a significant impact in the treatment of depression with rare side effects. 3, borage. Echium amnionium is a member of the borage family that grows in most parts of Europe and in northern parts of Iran. The flower of this borage is used in alternative medicine as an antifebrile, as an anti-inflammatory, as a possible cancer protective, and as well as an antidepressant agent. To elucidate the effects of this borage against depression, they conducted a preliminary randomized double-blind clinical trial. Results revealed that the extract of this borage is superior to placebo in improving the Hamilton Rating Scale for depression at a week 4 of the study, although the difference was not significant at week 6. Number 4, St. John's wort. It's the most famous herb that has long been used to treat depression. A number of clinical studies demonstrated that Hypericum perfortum, I guess St. John's wort, that's the scientific name, is clinically efficacious for depression. A long-term follow-up study recruited 426 responders, and they gave them the extract of St. John's wort to be assessed for remission rates. Results showed a beneficial effect of the St. John's wort extract for prevention from relapse after recovery from acute depression, while long-term maintenance and tolerability and continuation were comparable with placebo. Lindy showed that St. John's wort extract is better than the placebo in depression patients and is a curative as a standard antidepressant. It is as curative as standard antidepressants that you get over in the pharmaceutical area, but with lesser adverse effects. Now, if it's just as good as the pharmaceutical drugs, then I would say better. Why? Because it has no adverse effects. In other words, it doesn't kill you. It actually helps you. So I would say that's better. Yeah, I would say that. An authoritative systematic review of the meta-analysis have come to almost the same conclusions. Standardization and quality, however, proved difficult for the St. John's wort, as extracts show diversity of the potential effects due to unequal component profiles. And number 5, kava. The root of Piper methaceticum has been used for a long time to make a psychoactive drink in the South Pacific region. These days, its extract is widely consumed as a medicine in the whole world, including Europe and the United States. A 3-week double-blind crossover trial involving 60 patients was conducted to examine the anxiolytic antidepressant effects. They found that the aqueous extract of kava supplies a remarkable improvement of comorbid depression on the Montgomery-Åsberg Depression Rating Scale. Importantly, the extract did not show any grave side effects or clinical hepatotoxicity, suggesting its safety to use. However, some manufacturing companies withdrew this medicine because of the worry about latent hepatotoxicity. I suspect, since they already said it had no toxicity, that they withdrew it because it worked too well. And it was competing with the actual pharmaceutical drugs, and they don't want that. Rose root. The biennial strange word, flowering plant that has been used as a traditional medicine in some Asian and European countries. It has been referred to as a physical and mental booster. In depressive model, this extract increased the 5-HT level in rat hippocampus. In addition, it induced proliferation of neural stem cells, repairing the damaged neuronal cells in the hippocampus. It showed antidepressant activity, and after 3 weeks of using it in rats, they administered the extract strongly inhibited chronic mild stress-induced behavioral and psychological alterations, showed its antidepressant effects. It demonstrated a remarkable recovery. And So, number 7. The lavender, a flowering plant in the family of Lamiaceae, native to the Mediterranean. The utility of lavender oil involves an antibacterial, antifungal, carminative, sedative, antidepressant properties. Reported that chronic lavender oil exposure remarkably inhibited depressive-like behaviors. Inhibited, in other words, it got rid of the depression, in rats, and forced swimming and elevated plus maze tests. In other words, they got through a maze better. They could think, they could figure things out better. It improved your thinking. It had neuroprotective benefits, and the lavender oil has antioxidant effects. It treated anxiety disorders. I mean, it's just crazy, all the stuff that this does. It had absolutely devoid of adverse effects. It did not provoke withdrawal symptoms or drug interactions. They investigated the anxiolytic efficacy of lavender oil, administered for the treatment of anxiety-related restlessness and disturbed sleep. It confirmed the calming and the efficacy of lavender oil through randomized controlled trial confirmed. Also, several reports demonstrating positive effect of lavender in decreasing depressive symptoms. It showed several curative benefits on depression patients. Okay, not just symptoms, but curing depression. Essentially decreasing depression And lavender aromatherapy for 4 weeks improved the depression in postpartum women. Wow, as just smelling it, right? Maybe there's something to having incense, in your home, having good aromas in your home. I mean, this goes on and on and on, friends. My goodness, we can just go on and on and on with different herbs and things. The point is that all of these wild plants, all of them have these phytochemicals, penne, polyphenols, and flavonoids, and on, resveratrol, and many, many, many others. Cannabinoids, opioids, all of these things. There are cannabinoids all over in all of the plants. It's the reason we're depressed and we're not sleeping and we're not getting well. We're not curing our diseases. The reason we have these diseases is because we're not eating food. They're saying these are not essential. They're just, I don't know, what are they calling this? They're saying that these phytochemicals cure, and we use the word cure because they said so in this clinical studies. But not only the depression, but cancer, heart disease. In other words, why do you die? Well, that guy died of heart disease. That guy died of cancer. That one died of diabetes. This one died of, complications of lupus. And this one, all right. So that's why we die. Now, the herbs taken for a few weeks here and there seem to help. Sometimes cure, protect you, these kinds of words. No adverse effects. But for some reason, we can't find any studies where somebody went out into the wild, stopped eating white sugar, white flour, hydrogenated oils, preservatives, and all these other garbages with these adverse effects, and just began to eat natural food, plants that grow from the ground. Not in a garden. You don't need to make a garden. I mean, grapes are fine. You can grow them in a garden. Guess what? I've got grapes all over my property growing wild. Rose hips, walnuts, hickory nuts, pecans. There's serotonin in walnuts. There's flavonoids in pistachio berries. I know, yeah, there's 2 different kinds of pistachios. The female has berries. The male has the nuts. And they're both very good for you. And they grow everywhere. And if you just ate nuts and berries and seeds and plants, you would have all of this protection. You see, they use these words protection. What it really means is that if you eat food, you don't get sick, but you're in health. To have health means to eat the food that grows in the field and in the forest. That's what it means. And not only are we going to physically look wonderful, our hair is going to be glistening and our skin is going to be beautiful, but it's going to be an anti-aging thing as well. We're not going to age. Well, Dave, I might cut a couple years off your life. Well, think about it. It's protecting you from heart disease. You're not going to get diabetes. Come on, think about it. If you're going to live to be 80 and you got diabetes, think of how long you'd live if you didn't have diabetes. I mean, that insulin's got to be for a reason, right? You need that. I'm sure that there's more than just that going on. Just the insulin. I mean, if your body's sick and it doesn't produce some kind of hormone, then, I think it'd be better to go and find out why. And if you do, and you find out it's the food, you need this certain food, and then you don't have diabetes, I just wonder if, your hair's going to look better, right? Your skin's going to look better. You're not going to get cancer or heart disease. Well, how long would you live? We don't know. No one's ever tried it. But on top of all of that, because I know a lot of you say, oh, I don't want to live forever, Dave. I can't stand this rotten world. Guess what? We're fighting. We're going to war. We're hating one another. And it's called what? A chemical imbalance, because we're not in tune with our higher mind. We can't communicate with the cerebral cortex, the thalamus gland, the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and the pineal gland are not excreting the proper hormones because they're not being triggered to do so, because these phytochemicals that go in through the gut that cause the proper gut fauna and gives you the immune system, the proper pH balance. Because remember, if your liver and your kidneys, which are right there next to your gut, if it's just a rotting mess and it's very acidic because you're drinking alcohol and cigarettes and sugar and flour, then it's too acidic. And it's going to kill all the good bacteria just from that alone. Let alone the fact you're not getting any of the good bacteria, but you're promoting the bad bacteria, and that acid in your kidneys is causing it to be inflamed. And it shuts down. It can't work. It can't get rid of the toxins. The liver is what helps get rid of these cancerous cells. So if it starts bloating and becoming inflamed, and then you can't get rid of the toxins because you don't have no ability with these phytochemicals being absent, then the plaque and the free radicals go in and they start forming in the lining of the arteries and in all the little, your liver's full of these little veins. It's like a filter. If those veins aren't open so that you can filter through there and get rid of the toxins, then those toxins go all the way into your entire body. And then they start building up along the arteries of your in your blood veins and your arteries, and they get brittle and then they break. They start leaking and you have a heart attack. So if you didn't allow these free radicals in there, you wouldn't have a heart attack. You see, if you don't have a heart attack, your heart keeps going. It means you keep living. It means you keep pumping the blood and you're eating right, so you get all these nutrients. You keep putting those nutrients where they belong, and the omega-3 to build tissue, and all of the things like retinol that builds your eyes. All that gets to the place it needs to go. You're getting your proper sleep and rest and your REM sleep because you're not depressed or anxious or angry, but you're at peace. Because you have communication with your higher self, the river of life, and the neurons are flowing in. You have love, joy, goodness, mildness, restfulness. You see what would happen? That's all I'm saying, guys. I'm just saying, in the past, you may have thought, well, this isn't really working. I tried some, chamomile tea, and yeah, it's all right. I don't like it. Give me some whiskey. Well, the whiskey's going to kind of deaden your brain there for a little while. It kind of, kill some brain cells and maybe kind of gets you, separates you from your body in a sense because it's killing you. But then it leaves some very adverse effects. Then the next day you're depressed and you're physically sick and you have arthritis. You can't live like that. It's a temporary thing. That little joy you get from the whiskey for a few minutes, you're addicted and you're killing yourself. So if you have the self-control to stop, it takes some work, and then getting rid of all these poisons in your system and detoxing, and then putting in your system things that you just thought were, like licorice, sedative. It's a sedative. Anise. It's got saponins. And these sapamins, or what are they called, they've found in clinical studies can help you sleep and be calm get rid of the anxiousness. And other plants can actually get rid of toxins. As it says, protect your heart, protect your neurons, protect your blood flow, protect, produce hormones to give you, regulate your blood, your blood pressure. So you're not, racing and your mind racing and your body, jumping around and, heart palpitations and it leads to anger and anxiety and depression. See, what's going on here? It's kind of like what we're doing is the sugar tastes good and it gives us a high. You may not think of sugar like heroin. Like heroin, you literally get high, right? And you think, well, that's a wonderful experience for a few hours and then I get really low and then I got to have more heroin or I got to kill somebody, right? So it just makes you sicker than a dog. Sugar does the same thing. You crave it. You got to have it. I need my candy bar. I need this. I need my coffee. I need my things, right? I need my whiskey. I need it now. That's not a good way to live. The natural herbs are not addictive. They simply give you well-being, and they will give you a feeling of euphoria. You can go to Walmart, if you do nothing else, and go where you see the melatonin. Your pineal gland secretes melatonin. Now, I know people use melatonin to sleep, but as you get older, you don't produce enough of it. Well, you're depressed. And you can get the melatonin. There's one of them that they sell for like $5, a little bottle that has 10 milligrams of melatonin, which is, you don't want to take much more than that. And it has valerian root and it has lemon grass or something. It has several different herbs that all work together. Passion flower and that L-theanine we were talking about that helps you sleep. Now people are using this to help them sleep. Well, you can use it for that, but it's just herbs. And you don't necessarily have to take it at night. You can take it after you get off, when you get off work. You don't have to take it, it doesn't just make you pass out and go to sleep. It just calms you. It's just herbs. You can get valerian root. You can go to the Walmart and just get anise. Tastes like licorice. Make a tea out of it. I love licorice tea. Licorice itself, it's more expensive. The anise is pretty good. Cloves, very antioxidant. Oregano, garlic, all these things. Put them in your foods. They will start curing you. They will start making you feel better. And you can literally get to a place where your body has all of these phytochemicals working, no toxins in your system. And now when you take an herb, see, at the moment, when you go out and eat a dandelion, you don't probably feel anything because you're too high on your whiskey or your sugar, right? You've been eating sugar all day and candy and lasagna and stuff like that. And you're bloated and you're sick and you're tired. And you can't even feel the benefits of that dandelion root or a cup of chamomile tea. But once you get rid of all the toxins in your body, then when you drink a little cup of chamomile, you will feel such amazing good feelings, and it'll help you dream. You can, you literally will dream while you're awake. In other words, your mind, while you're awake, will be able to concentrate not only on the maze, like they did the experiments on the rats, improve their cognitive ability, but at the same time, your subconscious mind is figuring out everything in a state of well-being and peace, and sending you information that you need. So you don't stumble and fall down. You're more aware of your surroundings sort of in a subconscious way. You don't get in accidents. You don't hurt yourself. You're more aware and attuned to what you need. You see somebody and you're able to communicate with them much better. You're more kind. You have more friends. You start laughing much longer than you did before. You see a friend and you guys start talking, and instead of just, yeah, son of a bitch, now it's like, oh, how are you? Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, come on over and let's talk. And you just feel like everything's wonderful. And you'll actually see the difference when you eat a salad, made from the wild, from wild lettuce and plums and berries and nuts and all the things that you've gathered. You'll feel it. I promise you. It'll change your life. And it's a big thing we're talking about. We're talking about, and don't get discouraged if you can't do this in a day or a week or a month. Even in a year, if by this time next year you haven't gotten where you want to be, you haven't gotten rid of all the toxins, and you haven't kicked your smoking habit or whatever, don't give up. Because you know what? If you really want to do something, your brain will find a way to do it. You'll find a way to kick it. And the more toxins you get out of your body, the easier it's going to be to overcome the toxins that you do have. A lot of vitamin C will help you get rid of toxins because that's what it does. Go out and take like up to 5,000 milligrams or more of vitamin C. It's 10,000. People are taking huge mega doses of vitamin C for periods of time, and it just completely flushes your system. That's what these phytochemicals do. What we're talking about is it gets rid of and protects and gets rid of toxins in your body. So the more you eat, the easier it'll be for you to get rid of some of the other things that you got problems with. If you can't get rid of sugar, you know what? Don't worry about it. Well, worry about it. I mean, don't worry about it, but don't stress over it. Just say, okay, well, here's what I'm going to do. Right now, I'm putting 3 spoons of sugar in my coffee, let's say. I'll drop it to 1 spoon. Well, at first, just 2 spoons. You can handle that. After about a week or 2, you get used to that, and that seems normal. Then you can drop it to 1. Trick yourself. Find a way. Don't give up. Because the more of this stuff you get out of your system, better it's going to be for you. You're used to waking up every day and going down to the local donut shop and eating 4 or 5 donuts and then having this big latte with all this caffeine and mega doses of caffeine. Look, caffeine's good, but you don't want to overdo anything. But you're putting all this sugar in your coffee and stuff, and it's not even real cream. You're just putting all this high fructose corn syrup garbage in your coffee and eating all these donuts, and you just love it and you don't want to stop. Okay. Well, find something a little better. Eat a muffin, right? Switch to muffins. Get some coffee and just put regular cream in it. Cut back on the sugar. You just keep going and going and going until you lick it all. You've conquered it. And what you'll find is the more you go and the more you conquer, the more proud you will be of yourself, the better you'll feel, and you'll have more. It'll increase your will to do it. You make yourself proud of yourself. Your determination will grow. I guarantee it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go, friends. David Vos. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good one.